50 kobo coins were reissued with new designs on February 28, 2007, while a new 2 naira coin was introduced.
Still going to get nationwide because Abuja, or what quantum of money are going to be allocated to the various states.
Minister of Power Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says the program is set for implementation under the short-term strategies, while structures and legal frameworks required to drive the medium and long-term strategies are still being put in place.
We have taken some of the first steps by presenting to the public last week our energy-efficient building model in collaboration with our partners, GIZ, the German Institute for Development. We intend to incorporate that ultimately into the National Building Code.
Implementation will soon commence in states where we have access to unencumbered land in good locations.
Chairman House Committee on Housing emphasized that the committee will collaborate with the ministry to actualize the dream of the present administration on affordable houses for all Nigerians. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Izumba, NT News.
And still on the legislature, Minister Niger Delta Affairs Usani Uguru Usani advocates for more legislative support on policies for enduring peace, development and security in the Niger Delta region. It was part of his submission before the Joint House Committees on Niger Delta Affairs and Public Procurement. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The Minister Niger Delta Affairs, while briefing the joint meeting which brought together stakeholders from the area in question, Ministry of Budget and National Planning and Central Bank of Nigeria, noted shortfall in financial requirements in the 2016 budget.
We will no longer just sit back to say that we need infrastructure in based on what we think is good, but on what the demands of the people are.
Our production capacities was reduced to about 800,000. Our budget proposal was 200. At a point, we got to 800,000. That is a lot of challenge.
The Minister for Niger Delta and the SANEST, sit together with our minister. We will take it from there and take it on.
Adequate funding to ensure infrastructural development, additional security measures to protect oil pipelines against vandalism, and better ways of interaction between the 30,000 ex-militants and Niger Delta Avengers were also discussed.
We had a bill on this amnesty bill, putting in place a legal framework on which it can stand and how to exit the program.
The interaction was in line with constitutional provisions on security and welfare of citizens and Parliament managing resources productively and efficiently. The need for Central Bank of Nigeria to support federal government policies of reviving Niger Delta region through the community support programs by financial institutions was also discussed at the meeting. The outcome of the meeting will be presented before the House of Representatives. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
And away from the legislature, the third Forum China-Africa Media Corporation ended with the launch of the Africa Link Union, a convergent news content platform to help develop the value to local news from Africa to China and vice versa. The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, is one member of the union along with 18 other African media organizations. The link was created by the CCTV to bring media organizations from both sides closer Julieta Aino reports.
It was an agreeable end to a whole day of dialogue spent discussing more ways for China and Africa media to cooperate and benefit from each other.
We should increase the people-to-people contact, but if no chance, I think the media should play a very important role to introduce the partner objectively, not influenced by all those stereotypes and those information transmit from the West.
Standing on a new but historical starting point, the Africa Link Union was officially launched at the end of the third forum on China-Africa media cooperation in Beijing.
Now, you cannot just only download stories, but you can upload your own stories onto the server, which means that stories coming from Africa can come into China. But also more importantly is that for African members of the ALU, they can also share their stories. So it means that if a story is breaking, for example, in South Africa, I don't need to wait for Reuters. South Africa might upload that story and I can get the story from the perspective of South Africa. Vis-a-vis, if a story is coming out from Nigeria and we upload the story from NTA as a body, it means that any other African country can get the story coming from us and not the Western perspective, which is what is most strategic about this, this current tenor of our relations.
An initiative of the CCTV to enhance its existing cooperation with media from African countries, the Africa Link Union will host content from both sides. The link also seeks to fast-track China-Africa media cooperation, which the forum agreed was lopsided in favor of China. China's CCTV has the capacity to send its correspondents all over Africa and the world, thereby shaping the narrative.
In Africa, the problem we have most times is actually the means to fund our operations. But you see, from the little you have, if you can manage your resources a lot more creatively, you can as well be with free resources to fund what is most critical. The ordinary story, for example, about the ordinary person in the rural area, for example, in Nigeria, is what somebody in China might want to know about. The fact that we don't live on trees, these are just everyday story for the average journalist. It doesn't cost much to tell that story.
China also funds the China-Africa Media Center in Beijing, which hosts about 10 journalists from Africa in China for a year to report China to Africa. This year, Ikenna Emewu, a journalist from the Sun newspaper Nigeria, is a beneficiary of the fellowship. He challenged African media heads present at the forum to balance the information exchange. From Beijing, China, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
And to security matters now, the Nigerian army has concluded arrangements to deploy special forces to Kogi to tackle security challenges facing the state. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, disclosed this while on operational tour of Kogi State. Muhammad Abdulkader reports.
Kogi State borders 10 neighboring states and the Federal Capital Territory. Governor Yahaya Bello put the security threat facing the state in perspective and sought collaboration with the Nigerian Army.
Criminals in these various neighboring states found Kogi State as a safe haven because of the terrain, the mountainous nature, the forest all around us. They all hide here.
The situation, according to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, partly explained his reason for the operational tour of the state to take stock.
We maintain law and order, peace and security within the state. So we'll continue to do that. This is one of the reasons also. I'm here to assure you that we will collaborate with other security agencies to ensure maintenance of security.
At the barracks, the army boss told the troops to key into the changes in the operational directives and assured them of new welfare package to make them function optimally.
The Chief of Army Staff told the troops to move deep into the forest and the surrounding mountains in the state to go after the criminal element constituting threats to the peace in the state. From Chari Megumari Barracks, Lokoja, Kogi State, Muhammad Abdulkader, NTA News.
And still on security, former Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of operations at the Force Headquarters, Abuja, Ibrahim Idris, succeeds Solomon Arase as Acting Inspector General of Police. Edino Justice profiles the new police overall boss, Ibrahim Idris.
The Nigerian police force is going to be governed by internationally recognized core values of policing everywhere.
The acting Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Potun Idris, 57 years, joined police force as Cadet Assistant Superintendent of Police in 1984. He graduated from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, with a bachelor degree in agriculture. Also holds degrees in law from the University of Maiduguri. Ibrahim Idris, variously described as a gallant officer, put in 17 years at the police mobile force and had held many positions as unit commander, squadron commander, and at the time, the commandant, Goza Bush Camp. He spent 4 years at the United Nations missions in Liberia and East Timor, where he received United Nations commendations. The acting Inspector General of Police also served as Commissioners of Police, Nasarawa and Kano States, as well as Commissioner in charge of Operations, Force Headquarters, Abuja. Ibrahim Idris, until his appointment, was the Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG Operations, Force Headquarters, Abuja. Aiding of Justice, NTA.
And Lagos is our first port of call as Jennifer brings us details of Federal Road Safety Corps Intervention Patrol. Hello, Jennifer. It's good to see you.
Now we'll bring the story on FRSC in a subsequent news bulletin. But the German ambassador to Nigeria, Ingo Herbert, has urged Nigerians to take advantage of his country's free university education for foreigners to bridge the widening gap in accessing quality education in Nigeria. The German ambassador was speaking at the education seminar organized by the German consulate in conjunction with German Education Foundation in Lagos. Jenujuku has the details.
According to statistics, the number of eligible candidates for higher education in Nigeria who could not gain admission due to limited spaces in the public universities and the high cost of enrollment in private ones keeps increasing with each passing year. This has, in many instances, compelled vibrant candidates to lose their enthusiasm for higher education. The situation, no doubt, impacts negatively on the psychology and socioeconomic well-being of such candidates, parents, and the society at large. Since Nigeria and Germany enjoy a high-level bilateral and diplomatic relationship, the Consul General of German Embassy says eligible candidates should harness the free tuition university education for foreigners offered by Germany to realize their dream.
It's a political decision that education, also higher education, should be available for everyone. Major universities are public ones and it's free.
The embassy says its visa processing for genuine candidates is more relaxed to enable them get on with their studies. Saturday Jack, a Nigerian living in Germany, is a beneficiary of Germany's free education program for foreigners.
I benefited my classes all in English language. Where I need German is for my interaction if I want to buy something in the supermarket.
So far, over 300,000 foreigners have benefited from the Germany's free tuition university education. In Lagos, Jane Ujuku, NTA News.
And that's our top story at this hour from Lagos. Back to you, Laurie, for more nationwide news.
Many thanks, Jennifer. In line with federal government's directive,
number increases or even multiplies, you tend to have, food shortage. And that is why what the state government is doing is to continuously track the number of IDP.
The need to fast-track the implementation strategies towards quickly tackling child labor in the country has again been stressed. Discussants on NTA's program Tuesday Live stated this while reflecting on this year's World Day Against Child Labor. Joseph Johnson reports.
Analysts say millions of children around the world work, many full-time, at the expense of their education and social life. Against this backdrop, discussants on NTA's Tuesday Live, who exonerated themselves from engaging the services of children, frowned at the incidence of child labor in Nigeria.
The social protection issue has actually collapsed in the country. And if that is available, I think it will reduce a lot of the problems.
But let there be a budget line. When there is a budget line, those implementation
probably could be made.
We need to take up cases, in courts and try to enforce them, so as to be able to eliminate, the level of child labor.
We need to embrace technology, because when we embrace technology, it requires expertise. And a child cannot fit into such expertise.
We believe if the decent work actually is in place, parents will be empowered to provide and care for their children, and children will not be victims of child labor.
Observers say though child labor has declined by 1/3 since 2000, from 246 million to 168 million children, half of the figure, put at 85 million, are involved in hazardous work. Now, how do people feel about having children as domestic helpers, even with their attendant hazards that abound? Let's find out.
My brother, I feel so bad because they're not taking care of their children like their own.
It's criminal offense for me to take somebody's child and while my children are in school. It's very, very wrong.
Discussants were emphatic that if Nigerians see tackling child labor as a collective responsibility, other key components such as quality education, legislation enforcement would not suffer setbacks. In Abuja, I'm Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
The National Productivity Center has held a lecture at the National Youth Service Corps Orientation Camp in Kubwa, Abuja, with a view to enlightening the Corps members that government jobs are no longer available to take care of the population growth in Nigeria. Olainka Ojo reports.
Studies have shown that many developing countries that are experiencing boom, innovation and rapid growth are those whose workforce are productivity conscious, value-minded and efficient-driven. With knowledge and skills no longer static in this digital age, and government as well as companies cutting jobs on daily basis, Concerned Nigerian stressed the need for youths to be creative in the journey for survival if they are to become self-reliant and lead a productive life.
When you are not competitive, there's no market for you. The more competitive you are, the more market share you have, the more profit you have, the more you are able to expand the scope of your enterprise.
Some of the Youth Corps members noted that prudent utilization of resources and application of productivity techniques are of importance in any business to ensure profitability, sustainability, and maximum success.
When I'm effective, I get to have quality in anything I venture into.
Look at what we can do and how we can add value to the society.
The productivity sensitization lecture is also replicated in all the NYSC orientation camps in the country for Youth Corps members participating in the 2016 Batch A Stream 2 exercise. In Abuja, Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the NTA. We now take a break for some messages. The news continues shortly.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805 502 9637, 0803 450 9726, 0909 9708 111. Horizon Caterers, experience catering beyond the horizon.
With enormous passion to ensure the health and well-being of Nigerian women and children and alleviate the suffering of the less privileged, wife of the President, Her Excellency, Aisha Muhammad Buhari's Future Assured project has embarked on continuous visits and donations to orphanages, schools, internally displaced people's camps, provision of free medical screening and treatment for women and children, providing educational support, as well as seeking national and international partnerships.
Future Assured, leading the way to a brighter future.
Creating a brighter tomorrow.
With Future Assured, we can create a better future for our women and children.
Support the cause and let's lift our nation to greater heights. For more inquiries, visit www.futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
We are here to serve, and indeed, Nigerians will get the service they have longed for and which they rightly deserve.
The leader today that we have in Nigeria is one the world has been waiting for. Nigeria is seen in a new and a different, very positive light.
With what President Muhammadu Buhari is doing, our economy will be strong and resilient to withstand the shocks.
He wants the best for this nation. We want the best for this nation. Our aspirations should be to put this country first, and together we shall make progress.
If we don't believe in our own country, nobody will believe in our own country. So we must make sure that we continue with the trajectory. We don't want to make a mistake of the past.
This president has a singular opportunity to make that difference because the whole country is behind him.
And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we will come out stronger and more united than ever.
What?
What are you doing?
Stop! Stop!
There you go.
Yay, Indomie!
You're special in your way.
It's me, like no other.
No one's can do it like you.
It's me, like no other.
You buy this every day.
It's me, like no other.
Get it right with Indomie.
Indomie, like no other. It's me, like no other. It's me, like no other.
Here's to all amazing moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Always, we have lived together as brothers and sisters since long time in River, without no mind that we are spoken different languages and celebration our cultural and diversity. No bombing, no cultism, no kidnapping. Nowadays, our children are trampoline to cultists. Today, we are suspicion one another. All this notorious behavior have scattered all over Nigeria. When are it going to change? More. When are it going to stop? Terrorism are unwanted visitors. Kidnapping are criminal. Cultism are barbaric. Do not destroy this country, oh. Our country, Nigeria, are blessed, oh. Are you see what I'm saying? Support Nigerian police force in their civil war against terror, kidnapping and cultism. Report any bad move around you. See and does not talk, I kill old age. And to hear and does not behavior, I kill small picking. All of us have the duty of building Nigeria free of crime. That are our dream.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nationwide on the NTA. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a passionate appeal to Nigerians to pray fervently to God in the spirit of the season for Nigeria to overcome prevailing challenges for national unity, stability and sustainability for socio-economic development. The president made the appeal while hosting Vice President Yemi Oshibajo and members of the Federal Executive Council to the breaking of Ramadan fast. He said, with the economy going down and the enormous potentials in agriculture and solid mineral sector yet to be fully exploited, while the nation's critical assets are being vandalized by militants, prayers can go a long way in helping Nigeria.
Of Ramadan is making us more conscious of what leaders at every level ought to do. And leading is not a joke. It means accepting responsibilities for good or ill. And for that reason, I thank you very much for accepting to serve with this government, for accepting to identify yourself, whatever the impression was created by whoever about this government. So at this month of prayers and service to God, let us keep on this prayer all the time, believing that God in His infinite mercy will listen to our prayers, give us peace, security, and get the economy once more so that we can quickly rebuild and even do more for our country.
President Buhari, who recalled with concern the 2 million lives Nigeria lost during the civil war, called for caution on the part of those fanning the embers of disunity in the country.
Certainly somebody feels that he wants again, he wants Biafra. I think it's because he wasn't born when there was Biafra. And what it meant? It meant, losing a lot of innocent lives of Nigerians. We have to reflect on these historical antecedents to ensure what is before us now and what we intend to leave for our children and our grandchildren. We intend, with even this experience of loss of revenue, to strengthen our resolve to build our country, make it stronger, and to make sure that the generation coming on are sufficiently motivated to be patriotic. It's no use the rest of the world saying we are the biggest country in Africa, we are the economic engine of Africa, which are true, by the way. But then patriotism has to be built in. And this is our luck, as it were, to lead in that. So,
Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, who responded on behalf of the ministers, thanked the president for the show of hospitality and hopes that the prevailing spirit of unity in Ramadan will permeate throughout the country for national development. Workers of the Federal Ministry of Finance have called off their 3-day peaceful protest after a successful dialogue with the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun. Correspondent Cliff Ayoze reports that the workers were protesting over unpaid allowances and privileges went back to work after assurances by the minister to address their points of agitation.
It was an unusual scene at the Federal Ministry of Finance with the entrance gate under lock and keys. Here, activities were paralyzed for days following workers' protests over unpaid allowances.
We are not saying give us as they are giving us in the past. Then there are other internal matters, such as allowances. Allowances like promotion arrears, first 28 days, overtime.
Suddenly, the gate into the ministry was unlocked to mark the end of protests following successful meeting with the Minister of Finance, which was not open to the media. Leaders of the various unions in the ministry confirmed the resolution.
She have even called the Director of Finance and Accounts to sort into action.
We are going into dialogue to come out with a resolution, a final solution to our problem.
We must recommend the Commissioner of Police, Abuja, for a peaceful assistance he gives to us.
As efforts to get the comments of the minister failed, the special assistant to the finance minister of media, who could not speak on camera, confirmed amicable resolution of the agitation.
Between Monday and Wednesday, the gate of the Federal Ministry of Finance was under lock and keys, with no entry or exit of staff and management. But following a dialogue between the Minister of Finance and the workers, the issues in point appears to have been resolved, with the gate now open for business. From the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Cliff Ayoze, NTA News.
Thank you, Cliff. Enugu government strategizes on how to raise internal loans from capital markets. Ngozi in Enugu has details of this and other reports from that zone. Hello, Ngozi.
Hello, Laura, and welcome to Enugu Network Center. The Enugu State House of Assembly has passed the Registered Bonds Bill, thereby giving the state government a legal backing to raise internal loans from the capital market. Susan Eze on the House plenary.
The bill, which was not a contentious one, was quickly passed by the House, thereby establishing the law that will enable the Enugu State government to raise internal loans from the capital market through the issuance of registered bonds to the public. The loans are to be utilized for specific projects authorized by the State Executive Council. The House also passed a resolution approving a note issuance by the state government to the Budget Support Facility, BSF, Special Purpose Funding Limited. This is in view of the 14.16 billion naira financial support to the state, which will be made available in 3 tranches. Also during plenary, House member representing Udi South constituency commended the state government for sanitizing the operations of the road traffic officers from the State Ministry of Transport. He advised motorists in Enugu to obey traffic rules to ensure sanity on the roads. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
In keeping with the vision and mission of Enugu State Government to improve the revenue base of all the local government areas in the state and to reduce rural-urban migration, a 23-man economic team has been put in place in Enugu local government area to actualize the vision. Chimobi Wharton, Nigeria reports.
The 23-man team is made up of technocrats, academia, and community leaders in Enugu. Performing the ceremony, the caretaker committee chairman, Chief Fred Ezinwa, outlined a 7-point agenda that can create a new wealth base in Enugu. The new wealth base, he said, should create jobs, enhance the growth of small and medium-scale enterprises, create rooms for educational and cultural growth in the area. Chief Ezinwa told the team to look inwards and create investment opportunities for local and foreign investors.
What I'm talking is for them to look for the platform, how the resources will come in, how the investors will come into Enugu. There are people outside there who have money, who want to invest, but they just need a platform.
The chairman of the economic team and former secretary to the Enugu state government assured the chairman that his team will carry out their duties effectively.
I have absolute confidence in the people that are in the committee.
The concept of the inauguration of the economic team in all the council areas in the state is among the outcome of the last economic summit held in the state capital. In Enugu, Chimobi Walter Nnaji, NTA News.
Research has shown that about 80% of the diseases in the human body can only be dictated when the patients present themselves for medical checkup and screening. This report, Chinayong Woye, takes a look at the need for regular medical checkup and screening.
According to medical experts, some health conditions like glaucoma, cataract, complications in pregnancy, diabetes, hypertension, breast and prostate cancer, sickle cell and HIV/AIDS, to mention a few, can only be detected when people go for medical checkup and screening. Due to the present economic situation in the country, most people struggle to eat 3 square meals in a day and hardly create time to visit hospitals to know their health status. Health experts, however, say early detection of any disease aids in the management and treatment, hence the need for people to go for medical checkup and screening regularly.
But we know that most of these earheads, some of them are hidden. You don't just see them. They are not apparent. So it's something that one needs to really go to the hospital, do some routine check, some investigation, because that's the only way you'll find out that somebody, before the illness actually gets out of hand.
While some individuals acknowledged the importance of regular medical checkup, others say most people are reluctant about going for medical checkup for fear of being told they have one disease or the other.
Even if you're afraid, the fear will be easily addressed if you know earlier that this is what you are having.
If you go to hospital and see the doctor will give you the correct medicine.
The medical experts, however, discourage self-medication and the use of herbal drugs not prescribed by a doctor, which he said could cause damage to some vital organs in the body. In Enugu, Chinenwoye, NTA News.
That's all from Enugu Network Center. There'll be more reports on Nationwide with Laura in Abuja.
Many thanks, Ngozi. The growing inability of states to pay workers' salary has led the federal government to offer bailout to the states, the second within 1 year. Economy experts speaking on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria expressed divergent views on the decision by the federal government to grant another 90 billion naira bailout to state governments after the initial one of 713 billion naira. Omojola monitored the program and now reports.
Speaking from the standpoint of insolvency, while some of the guests feel the intervention will ultimately make the states fiscally responsible going by the 22 conditions to access the loan, others are of the opinion that inclusive growth should be considered to carry along the private sector.
If you're going to be lending to somebody who is not credit worthy, what it simply means is that you have pitched that money down the gutter.
It's a conditional, support. And if you don't meet those conditions, you will not get those things. Now the question is, are these conditions enough to get them to be independent going forward? Or we have a repeat of a demand for subsequent support?
It is like a goaded process to see how to get the states to become on their own more fiscally responsible going into the future.
There is a crunch. And except we are made to face it and come out of it by applying what is reasonable in terms of amending our fiscal policies and following it with concrete applications in terms of the implementation. Otherwise, it will not work.
Stressing proper planning as key to efficient fiscal responsibility, guests also posit that it should be top to bottom, especially in remunerations, and that states should be made to pay by their earnings.
Lagos State can pay more than you federal government. They should be free to do so. And if another state is unable to pay more than half of what Lagos State is paying, they should also be free to do so.
Our states will never become viable except to begin to do some kind of economic integration.
Much as possible, especially those at the top. I'm talking about the governors, the executives and the legislature in the various states. They need to cut down on their expenses.
The place of local government was also highlighted and public-private partnerships stressed to make the state's economies viable. In Abuja, Omojola, NTA News.
Nigerian Air Force to fight insurgency. This and more as we join Pam in our Makudi Network Center. Hello, Pam. It's over to you.
Thanks, Laura, and welcome to Makudi. Graduates of the Nigerian Air Force School of Air Intelligence have been challenged to utilize the knowledge gained during training in the fight against insurgency. Director of Air Intelligence, Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Usman, gave the advice at the combined graduation ceremony of the school in Makudi. Oche Ngbede has details.
Established in 1999, the Nigerian Air Force School of Air Intelligence
has the mandate of training and retraining operatives of various cadres in different intelligence disciplines. Director of Air Intelligence, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Usman said, with the current problems of insecurity in the country, there is need for the military, especially the Nigerian Air Force, to continue in the training of its officers to gain intelligent knowledge to fight insurgencies. He congratulated the graduates for successful completion of the course and urged them not to relent in putting the knowledge gained to work.
You must all therefore see yourselves as the new crop of intelligence officers, supervisors, and operatives whose duty it is to uplift the intelligence specialty to greater levels of professionalism.
The courses that were taught to these graduates were aimed at upgrading and consolidating their skills as intelligence officers, intelligence operatives for optimum performance in the field.
High point of the event was the presentation of certificates to graduating officers. Gifts were also presented to top Air Force officers and other security agencies. In Makudi, Oche Ngbedi, NTA News.
Taraba State is scaling up activities in the fight against tuberculosis and leprosy through the provision of additional facilities and vehicles for wider coverage. Correspondent Kefa Sile tells us more.
With 85 health facilities located across the 16 local government areas of the state, alongside well-trained personnel to carry out disease prevention, treatment and control measures, Taraba State government says it is mounting a final push against tuberculosis and leprosy. The government, which has continued to honor its counterpart obligations to the federal government and development partners, said the provision of an additional block of offices at the tuberculosis and leprosy control program in the state, as well as motorcycles for intervention and surveillance activities, is to strengthen the operational muscle of the unit. State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Innocent Vakai, said though Nigeria remains number one on the tuberculosis countries count, the state government is determined to contain it through a holistic approach. Taraba State Officer of the Tuberculosis and Leprosy Control Program, Dr. Marcus Nzunde, said efforts are presently being intensified because of a reported 100 new cases of leprosy in the state and the confirmed report that the HIV virus fuels the spread of tuberculosis. In Jalingo, Kefa Sule, NTA News.
Thank you, Pam. The management of Servicom is partnering with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, towards ensuring that Nigerians get value for money in service delivery and promoting safety on Nigerian roads. At a meeting at the headquarters of the FRSC in Abuja, Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi said the Corps strives for excellence in its service delivery. Saliu Abdullahi has details.
Nigerians have for long felt shortchanged by the quality of public service delivery, a situation that has always affected progress and development. This advocacy visit from the Servicom management to FRSC is to get support through collaboration and addressing the challenges of quality service delivery. It is also towards making service to be more customers friendly and to ensure value for money in service delivery. While commending the FRSC for its commitment on Ministerial Service Unit, Servicom Acting Coordinator says total support from the FRSC through consultation, information gathering, transparency and responsiveness will achieve its mandate.
Consultation, we need to consult with our stakeholders because that is the opportunity the stakeholders have to influence decisions about the nature of services they receive.
Corps Marshal FRSC Boboye Oyeyemi says the Corps is not compromising standards and will continue to improve on its service delivery through an efficient feedback mechanism.
On that of feedback, and we encourage Nigerians to support this government's innovation of our service delivery. So the core issue is that we all join us together to support Servicom, which is designed to further improve the government administration.
The partnership of FRSC and Servicom, Boboye Oyeyemi added, will promote the activities of the FRSC and help at making roads safer for all. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And to political matters now, the People's Democratic Party in Taraba State says it is committed to efforts geared towards strengthening its internal democracy and winning back aggrieved members. The state chairman of the party, Victor Bala, stated this at a stakeholders meeting in Jalingo. Murtala Aminu Mutumbiu reports.
Taraba State Chairman of People's Democratic Party, Victor Bala Kona, stated that the party will continue to play a leading role in strengthening peace and accelerated development in the state. He noted that the PDP-led government of Governor Darius and Ishiaku has maintained an open-door policy toward all the citizens in the state and set the example for others to follow.
Doors are open for anybody who has left the party who wants to return to PDP wherever ready to accept you back.
Highlight of the stakeholders meeting was the receiving of the Tribal State Secretary of All Progressive Congress, Tony Baba Suleiman, who defected from his party, alongside the APC chairman of Sardana Local Government Area, Yusuf Gori Tanimo, and their supporters to People's Democratic Party, PDP. Speaking on behalf of the decampees, the former APC State Secretary, Tony Baba Suleiman, said they were inspired to decamp to the PDP by the exemplary performance of the Darius Dusan Ishiaku administration in the past 1 year. Chief of Staff of Governor Darius Dusan Ishiaku, Rebo Usman, assured the decampees that they have taken the right step and will be accorded all the rights and privileges within the party. In Jalingo, Murtala Aminu Mutumbiu, NTA News.
Voter registration and collection of cards commences in Edo State, preparatory to the forthcoming governorship election. Ogochukwuka in Benin is our guide. Hello, Ogochukwu.
Lore, thanks for joining us. Continuous voter registration exercise has commenced in Edo State in the 192 wards in the 3 senatorial districts in the state. Good Luck N9 reports that the first day of the exercise records huge turnout.
Most of the centers visited, people turned out en masse for the exercise. INEC officials were on ground to carry out their official assignment. Some of the prospective voters who spoke with NTA News want INEC to provide more facilities to speed up the process.
Before they will attend one person, it will take 15-20 minutes. At the end of the day, they will not register more than 50 people a day.
And the INEC officials themselves didn't arrive here by 9 o'clock because some persons had to go from here with their vehicle to their office.
The situation at Ewosa Anglican Grammar School, one of the centers, was however different, where some prospective voters were locked out of the venue. The principal of the school, who spoke off camera, said INEC is here to inform the school authority.
I don't do this this morning, it's around 5 o'clock. Now here for bro, see my bro, see touch my document for us. But I come here now, they tell me say I don't feel entered because it's a private school.
Spokesperson of INEC Edo State, Priscilla Imodu Sule, said INEC will look into all the challenges with a view to addressing them.
If you have registered with your passport, we are saying it is wrong and the system is already compromised. Whichever ad hoc staff did that, the commission have already called for the correction and we reprimanded immediately.
The exercise ends on the 26th of this month. In Benin, I am Good Luck N9, NTA News.
The Deputy Director for Partnership Coordination, National Agency for the Control of HIV/AIDS, NACA, Dr. Funke Oki, has expressed the agency's determination to strengthen the capacity of the state agencies to function optimally. She was speaking in a ceremony to flag off the integrated supportive supervision of NACA and the State Agency for Control of AIDS in Benin. Steve Lonai Mokolo has that report.
Dr. Funke Oki, who says her team is in Benin to provide technical, financial, and managerial oversight to its stakeholders, noted that their objective is to ensure multi-sectoral planning, implementation of HIV/AIDS policies, monitoring and evaluation of all HIV/AIDS prevention and impact mitigation in the state.
Nigeria got a credit facility from the World Bank worth $225 million, and each state got $5 million. So NACA, being the supervising agency at the national level, normally goes round the states to observe what they are doing.
Project Manager, Edo State Agency for the Control of AIDS, Haja Meriatu Binkola, said that the platforms have provided immense benefit to SACA in the provision of integrated supportive supervision to the states in the various aspects of the state's programs.
They came to see how well we utilize the commodities given to us and all that, because it's all about target.
National Agency for the Control of AIDS was founded by the federal government to provide leadership, overseas policies, programs, and projects directed at AIDS-related issues. In Benin, Steve Lonai, Wankolo, NTA News.
And that's the much you can take from our Benin Network Center. And on the foreign scene, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, opposition presidential hopeful sentenced to 36 months in prison and also given $6 million fine for illegal purchase of a flat. And towards Thursday's historic European Union referendum in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister David Cameron and other politicians make a final push for votes. These and more on Global Tidbits with Ronke Kolawole.
Under the vision of protecting local industries and curbing the outflow of scarce US dollars, the Zimbabwean government has imposed restrictions on import, especially on goods coming from South Africa. The restrictions would last for 6 months and could be extended. The Japanese government has warned North Korea about the threat it poses to global security for launching 2 missile tests in defense of international sanctions. South Korea, United States and NATO also condemned the tests. Meanwhile, India has successfully launched 20 satellites in a single mission, the highest in the history of the country's ambitious space program. In Bolivia, the president Evo Morales has proposed that the people should discard the Gregorian calendar and switch back to its ancestral calendar as part of rebuilding the Bolivian identity. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
And in our sports package, golfers from across Africa battle for the top prize at the West Africa Golf Challenge holding in Abuja as Rio Olympics suffer more setbacks with security issues and athlete withdrawals. Let's now join Fisayo Ogunfui for these and more.
The fourth leg of the West African Golf Tour teed off Wednesday at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, with Nigeria #1 Andrew Odo leading 63 other professionals from Nigeria and some other parts of Africa. In the round of 64, Nigeria's Andrew Odo defeated his paired compatriot Gbenyo 9-up with 8 more games to spare, setting up a birdie on the 10th hole to book qualification into the round of 32, which starts Thursday.
We have more competitors on this event now, which is the first match play for the West Africa Golf Tour. And there's a South African here, South African American, who's also competing in the match play event for the first time.
The Alba Celeste of Argentina are through to the final of the 2016 Copa America after beating the host United States 4-0 at the NRG Stadium, Houston, Texas in the early hours of Wednesday. Goals from China-based Ezequiel Lavesi, a brace from Gonzalo Higuain, and a free kick by Lionel Messi made the semi-final a no contest. Messi's goal, which is his 55th for Argentina, now makes him its country's leading scorer, overtaking Gabriel Batistuta's 54-goal record. In the early hours of Thursday, Colombia will face defending champions Chile at the Soldier Field Stadium, Chicago, for the right to face Argentina in the final of the competition. Russia Olympic Committee Chairman Alexander